Hey everybody, and welcome back to ThreadX3 Productions. I am here doing a tier list, and it's the tier list of Battlefield 2042 specialists. So I'm going to rank them. I'm going to tell you, what's good about them, what's bad about them, what are the good tiers, and what's the trash tiers. So let's get right into that. All right, so we're actually going to go in the same order that they appear on the selection list. So it's not exactly lined up to what's down here. So first is Sundance or Emma. So with Sundance, by the way, if I'm looking over here, it's because I'm actually looking at my TV screen. I have it on my PlayStation. So, Sundance is an assault, attack, flank, destroy is the description for her. She has a grenade belt with multiple grenade payloads. The first one is Scatter, multi-payload anti-personnel grenade, anti-armor. This is really good for it auto locks onto things, but what's really cool is it does it for air and land vehicles. So this is essentially like your engineer in a way where like you could pick her instead of the RPG or the Stinger, pretty much, because as long as you're close enough, you can have her. And then the last one is EMP. So the EMP grenade that continually emits EMP signal when activated. So this is good for, I believe, turrets and vehicles. So really good. Then her passive is wingsuit. She equips a CW2A wingsuit instead of the parafoil. So the parafoil is obviously the parachute or whatever. So she has a wingsuit instead of a parachute. This is really cool as far as like getting around the map is actually like super fun with her. So I actually really like this. The only thing I'd say about it is that it doesn't make sense why she has a wingsuit, because it's like you're a person who's, I guess part of it, if you need a wingsuit to get as close as you can to a helicopter or something like that, maybe that's why or whatever. So she is able to get around really quickly with her wingsuit, especially if you obviously get to a pretty high area, and her grenades are multifaceted. You can do infantry, armor, and you can, basically do almost like a counter UAV in a way with the EMP. So she's very versatile as far as she's quick and she's deadly as far as being able to destroy. So I want to try to only save like S tier for like certain ones, but I think especially with the right loadout, she could definitely be an A tier with that multiple grenades or whatever, and being able to get around quickly. Just the difference the wingsuit gives you, especially if you play on Kaleidoscope with the giant skyscrapers, you can get across the entire thing. And I love just being able to dive down and then back up, dive down. It's just a way different feeling than the parafoil is, I guess, what they call it. So then let's move on to Dozer, or what's he called? Santiago something something. So Santiago slash Dozer is an attack, flank, destroy. See, I don't know. This is a little weird because it's like, why are they both called attack? I wouldn't necessarily call him an assault. I would call him more of a defender. So I think they need to mess around with the titles for most of these, cuz attack doesn't make sense. You're not attacking. Cuz the thing is with the ballistic shield, it deflects incoming small arms fire, but you can't like pull out your pistol or pull out your primary while you're doing it. So to call this an attack or flank, see, flank makes sense. But attack, this is not an attacker. You're not doing anything while that shield is up. And as long as you want to use him correctly, you want to have that shield up a lot of times. Now, his blast resistance is really good. There's this one time we were up against this, one of the transports, and the transport had an explosive turret on it, and it just kept shooting it. My buddy stayed behind me, and he was able to get to cover because I just slowly backed up, and he stayed behind me, and we backed up together, and I kept the shield aiming at the transport, and it basically did almost no damage to me. It got me into the red where my screen was red, but it wasn't enough to kill me, no matter how many times he hit me. So that blast resistance and the blast shield, really, really good together, especially in a squad type of situation, especially in situations where you want to like take over an area. He can be extremely full of worth. So I want to put him in A, but I think I'm going to go down to B, just because you don't get any points while you're defending. I think EA should go back in and add some type of a protection scoring. Because, like, for instance, my buddy got like 13 to 20 kills depending on what match we were on or what map we were on, and I would get single digits. And the reason I got single digits is because I was playing as Dozer. But if I was playing as Dozer but still getting experience because it gave me like protection points, I think I would have been okay with that. But it didn't. So there needs to be some type of, as long as I'm in front of or I'm within a certain meters of a squad mate, I should get some type of protection. So he'd be an A tier, maybe even an S tier if it would let me pull out my pistol. But since neither one of those, he goes down to B because you just don't get any points. And so I need my experience. Yeah. So let's move on to McKay. This guy, once again, attack, flank, destroy. I don't necessarily agree with that. He is a flank because he has the grappling hook, and so he's also an attack. But it's like, I don't understand how all these guys are assaults. Like, it doesn't, to me, that doesn't make any sense. So anyways, let's get past that, Nick. So grappling hook, it allows you to, it allows unrivaled mobility. Yeah, okay, obviously. The range on it can be really good. It really gives you the ability to set up some really good flanking positions. So having somebody like this on your team could be very good. Especially, I think, if you're going to be this, you should have either a DMR or a sniper rifle, because getting up to a really good vantage point and then like shooting down at people, I feel like that would be really good, because you also have nimble, which you move faster while aiming, and zip lines. So having the DMR, the sniper, and being able to get to a really good position, take a couple of shots and then maybe switch positions so that you're always kind of on your toes, is really good. So as far as like his accessibility, he's really easy to learn because the grappling hook is very good, and he gets that faster movement while aiming. So I think he's very versatile, and he definitely should go up to the A tier. Then we have Irish. This is an engineer, so you defend, fortify, improvise. Don't know what the fuck that means. So you are an engineer, which you have the fortification system contains options for point of defense. So basically what this means is it's a little like wall. Puts a little wall in front of you, and then you can uncrouch or you could go to the side. So it kind of gives you, and you always have two of these. So you can actually, wait, what? I'm so confused right now. Okay. Sorry, I'm learning this right now. Apparently there's an APS 36 shoot down sentinel, which I guess is you can either make it a wall, or you can throw down essentially what is a trophy system, and it'll shoot down any incoming grenades. I genuinely did not even know that that's what he could do. So he essentially has a trophy system from Call of Duty. I did not know that the wall essentially had two functions. So on top of that, he also gets additional armor and recovers more armor. So he's good for staying alive, not only because he has more armor, but because he can literally put down a wall. So this is really, really good as far as, you know, it's a good person to have on your team. Honestly, I think he's going to end up going into B tier. Now, the reason he's going to B tier is there's no lean system in the game. So what I mean by that obviously is that there's no popping out of cover. So you literally have to click the crouch button to get up, pow pow pow, click it in again to put it down. Whereas in the past we've had a lean system where just aiming down sights pops you out of cover and then you can take a couple of shots, and as soon as you stop aiming, you go back into cover. And so without that, as stupid as reasoning as you might think it is, it's important. It's very important to have a leaning. So the fact that he doesn't, that knocks him immediately down to a B. Maybe even no, because the trophy system, I didn't know about that, so he's gonna go down to B. All right, so then we have Boris. Yes, we have Boris. He's an engineer, so he defends, fortifies, and improvises. So he has the sentry gun. Now, the sentry gun obviously not only does it engage enemies, but it also points them out. And that extra little bit, the fact that it points them out, you can see them clear as day. So even if the gun itself doesn't do a lot of damage, maybe, or it doesn't hit them, it lets you know where they are, and I feel like that's almost just as good. And then his passive ability is while he's nearby the gun is more effective. And for that reason alone, I think this is going to be our first C, because everybody else and their passive ability has kind of a separate, maybe you could say that Dozer, for instance, his secondary or his passive ability is reduce explosive damage, and that's essentially what you get with the ballistic shield. But everybody else's like passive is just different. Whereas this guy, you have to be close to your sentry gun. But I would argue part of what would be nice about putting up a sentry gun is putting it up somewhere, especially since it points out people, putting it up like on a container in Manifest, and then, protecting a separate area. So if you put the turret so that it protects over here, you come over here so that you protect the other area, but you can still hear the sentry turret going off, so you know to turn around and start shooting that way. So the fact that you have to stay nearby it just for it to be more effective is just dumb in my opinion. And so as much as I do like him, I think I might even go down to D. I might be willing to make him go back up, but for now, I'm going to put him down at D. All right, so then we have Casper, the friendly ghost. This one's recon, so we observe, infiltrate, eliminate. So he has the O. Is that an O or a D? I think it's an O. So it's an OVP recon drone. So a recon drone that lets you, scout ahead. And then his secondary is sensor suit alerts you to nearby threats. Now that's kind of cool because you can at least know if somebody's close by. This guy has like kind of the ghillie suit, so it's kind of insinuating that he's the sniper. Which I guess in a sense would make sense because you send out the recon drone, mark some people, and then shoot him down with a sniper rifle. And then you have the sensor or the movement sensor so that if they get too close, you can kind of take them out. And I mean, I'd say that the worst part about the recon drone is the fact that then you're vulnerable. So obviously you're going to take some cover and then send it out, but still the fact that you kind of have to just be out of body in order to do this kind of makes him go down. I don't know if he's bad enough to... No, yeah, I think he is. He's bad enough to put down to D because I'm sure there's some people that this is 100% their play style, but even like the recon drone from Apex Legends, when you play as the drone on that, the drone has the ability to like do the ultimate, but since this doesn't really have an ultimate, instead you can just kind of use it for recon. That definitely makes it go down to a D. All right. Then we have Rayo. He is also recon, observe, infiltrate, eliminate. He has the cyberware suite. So this disables enemy hardware. So this is good because obviously it gets rid of like their like mini map, so they can't see if there's gunfire near them. But then the best part about it is the Trojan network, which if you hack a person or whatever and then you kill them, it will reveal all nearby enemies. And so especially on something like breakthrough, breakthrough, the kind of rush mode, this can be really useful for if there are people defending an area, which I guess it could happen on Conquest, but I'm just trying to give an example. But this could be really good for when they're defending an area and you can hack them, kill them, and then boom, it'll show like how many people are in that area. So this is really good. You definitely need this person and somebody else coordinating really well. Now, it is pretty easy to hack somebody and then kill them, but it would just be easier if you hack them and then your buddy immediately kills them rather than, doing the little hack animation and then pulling out your rifle and shooting versus doing the hack animation and then right when it does it, boom, so this is very squad oriented, which is arguably all of them. I'm not gonna, deny that. But I definitely think that this one's way better as you have to have somebody else. So I really like this. But I don't think he's the best. I definitely think he's C tier because he could be maybe a little bit harder to utilize. Whereas like people in the A tier, they're just all arounders. And so they actually are really good. The next person is Pake. She is a recon, observe, infiltrate, eliminate. Now, she highlights hostiles concealed behind cover. So this is really good because it's basically Bloodhound from Apex Legends, where you could see people through walls. So this is really good. I don't know how long it lasts. It looks like it lasts a good 10, maybe 15. 1, Mississippi 2, Mississippi 3, Mississippi 4, Mississippi 5, Mississippi 6, Mississippi 7, Mississippi 8, Mississippi 9, Mississippi 10. Okay, so 10 whole seconds. So for 10 seconds, you can see people through walls. Once again, this is extremely useful for, getting to an area, reconning the situation, and then taking over the conquest or breakthrough area. Now, another good thing, her passive is acquisition. Those who damage you become spotted. So this could be really good, especially if you have maybe like a loadout with armor. You can kind of armor up and then that way you have just a little bit extra where if you get hit, you know where that person is. So it's really good at counterplay. So it's good for recon because you can see them through wall, but then it's really good for counterplay just because as soon as you hit, you know exactly who hit you and where they are. So this one's really good. I don't know if this is very much like a solo player. Not necessarily that you should be a solo player, but this isn't exactly... so definitely don't think she's a D. C, I don't know if that's too harsh. So I think she's going to go up to B. I think that's good because she's definitely not any higher. But yeah. Then let's go on to Falk. She is a support, so supply, maintain, revive. And so with her, she has the S21 Serint pistol. This is good. It's essentially a syringe pistol. You shoot somebody and it heals them. So this is really good. You can heal at a range. She used to be able to revive people. and now she can't. I don't know why they got rid of that. I feel like if they just would have made it harder to revive, like maybe it took more shots to revive or something like that, I think it still could have been fair. The best thing is that you can heal yourself as well. So, and it's relatively quick. I don't know if it's necessarily quicker than like pulling out a doctor's bag and throwing it on the ground. I think it's quicker than that. So, you know, and then her passive is Combat Surgeon. Revive any ally to full health. Now, anybody can revive anybody, but most of the time it's at like half health. Whereas she, when she revives somebody, she revives them at full health. So that's really good, extremely useful as far as like keeping people alive. And then even if they do go down, getting them back up, getting them back to full health, you know, versus anybody can equip the doctor's bag. So Dozer can have the doctor's bag. You know, Irish can have the doctor's bag. But if they revive them, they'd have to revive them and put down the med pack, where she just has to revive them. So that means they're back into the action much quicker. So she is definitely A tier. I mean, I don't even have to think about it. Then we have the last guy, support, maintain, revive. We got Angel, which is funny. His real name is Ongle. So it's like, okay. So he has the loadout crate. Now the loadout crate resupplies ammo, armor, and there is a loadout call-in. Now this is kind of cool because basically in the middle of battle, you can change your loadout. So this could be really important if, let's say, there's a bunch of tanks rolling in. If you have one of your equipments where you can switch to an RPG, this could be really good. So he's actually pretty useful in that sense, that you can kind of adjust to the situation, especially if you have, you know, a good set of loadouts, of diverse set of loadouts rather. His passive is Trauma Specialist. Revive an ally. Patients gain armor. Okay, so I have double checked. I went into the game. When you revive somebody, you only revive them at half health, but they do get armor. So it's like technically 70 health if you look at it that way. So if you had him plus a medic bag, you can get him back up to full health, and they would have armor because you revived them. This one's hard because you can't deny the versatility of the resupply. Being able to basically, you know, go into a situation, you know, and go, okay, I can see that there's a tank over there. Before we go over there, let's switch to our RPG or something. Or let's switch to, you know, something like C4 or something like that. So being able to kind of change stuff on the fly is really useful. And so for that reason, it you know, that makes it really hard. The whole like reviving with armor, I don't know how useful that is, other than, like I said, instead of reviving at 50 health, you technically revive at 70, and then just by regenerate, even if you don't have the med pack, just regenerating, you can go up to 120 technically. So I don't know. He's definitely not D tier, because I don't think he's just like absolutely useless. But is C tier too low is the question. I guess let's put him next to... We're going to put him in C tier, and then we're going to compare him to these guys. Now, Dozer, I mean, the main reason I have Dozer is because of how useful that shield is. And Irish, the versatility between being able to put down a wall versus a trophy system, that's pretty good. And his passive was the extra armor. So you already get extra armor anyways. Yeah, you know, I think he deserves to be in the C tier because he's useful, but he isn't awesome. Okay, so the way we have it right now is Sundance, McKay, and Falk is rank A. Dozer, Irish, and Eco is B. We have Rayo and Angel C. Boris and Casper are both D. So is there anybody in the A tier that I believe should get S tier? You know, because I definitely feel like at least one person should be S tier. Like they're the best there. And I think this one's going to be up to personal preference. And I think personal preference definitely is Falk. Because, you know, being able to heal people is one thing, but being able to do it from a distance is really cool. Not only that, but you can heal multiple people, you know, because there's 12 rounds altogether and they do recharge. So that's really nice. Plus, being able to revive somebody and then not have to heal them because they're already up to 100 health is actually really useful. So, but this is 100% personal biased because Falk is my main. So, of course, I'm going to put her up to S tier. So, here is the unbiased ranking, but then the biased ranking definitely puts her up there. And honestly, the biased ranking probably looks more like that because I like Dozer so much. However, yeah, the biggest thing with Dozer and the biggest thing with Irish, they both have like protection, but what really sucks is that with Dozer, you can't pull out a pistol and shoot at the same time. The XP, you don't get XP for protecting people. So if all you do is use the shield, which if you're Dozer and you're a good teammate, that's what you're doing. You're using that shield. You're slowly pushing forward while somebody stands behind you and peeks out every once in a while. That's a good Dozer. That's a good Dozer. And then Irish, yeah, since there's no peek and lean system, his walls are really nice and useful and you can hunker down, but without being able to just L2 out of cover over and over and over again, it lessens his ability. So yeah, this is what I'm thinking for the tier system. This is how I personally rank them. For the most part, I try to be as objective as possible and how I think how useful they are on a team. You know, the A tiers, like if you have a 4-people squad, these A tiers are good to have. Like you have to have, you know, A and B tiers. Because the B, I would say, the A and B, between those 6, it's like you need at least one from each of the tiers, A and B. So that's my personal ranking. I want to know your guys. Who's your S tier? Who's your personal main? Who's your secondary? And then if you had to pick a third, who's that? So, yeah, that's my ranking. Thank you guys so much for joining us on this episode of Battlefield 2042 ranking. I might do the maps next, so let me know if you think I should do the maps next. You know, come back and we'll do more Battlefield 2042 videos. Thank you.